The biting wind of a late autumn evening swept through the narrow alleyways of Oakhaven, carrying with it the scent of damp leaves and the distant rumble of city life. Huddled in a cardboard box tucked beside overflowing bins was a small, scruffy terrier mix. His fur, once a patchwork of brown and white, was now matted with grime, and his large, soulful eyes held a deep well of abandonment. He shivered, not just from the cold, but from the raw ache of being discarded, a feeling no creature, big or small, should ever know. He was nameless, unwanted, a ghost in the bustling heart of the town. Across town, in the quiet solitude of the St. Jude's orphanage, a young girl named Lily sat by the window, her gaze fixed on the twinkling stars that began to pepper the inky sky. At 10 years old, Lily carried a quiet sadness that seemed to cling to her like a shadow. Orphaned at a young age, she had learned to find solace in the small wonders of the world, the delicate unfurling of a leaf, the cheerful chirping of birds, the silent companionship of the moon. She possessed a gentle heart, overflowing with empathy for any creature that suffered. Tonight, her heart ached with a familiar pang of loneliness, a yearning for a connection that went beyond the well-meaning but often hurried interactions with the orphanage staff. The next morning, the little terrier, driven by hunger and a primal instinct to survive, ventured out of his makeshift shelter. He trotted cautiously through the back streets, his nose twitching, trying to decipher the myriad of smells that assaulted him. He was wary of humans, their kindness having proven fleeting and unreliable. He had known the warmth of a home once, the gentle scratch behind the ears, the comforting presence of a human voice. But that was a distant memory now, overshadowed by the harsh reality of being left alone. His wanderings led him to the edge of a small park, a green oasis amidst the concrete jungle. Children's laughter echoed through the air, and the tantalizing aroma of discarded food wrappers wafted from a nearby bin. As he cautiously approached, a small figure caught his eye. It was Lily sitting alone on a park bench, her gaze fixed on a wilting dandelion she held delicately in her hand. She looked as lost and fragile as he felt. Something in her quiet demeanor, the gentle curve of her shoulders, resonated with the little dog. He hesitated for a moment, his instincts warring between fear and a strange sense of kinship. Hunger finally won, and he took a tentative step forward, then another. Lily looked up, startled by the small, scruffy creature that had appeared before her. Her initial reaction was one of caution, but as she looked into his sad, intelligent eyes, her fear melted away, replaced by a wave of compassion. He was thin, his ribs slightly visible beneath his matted fur, and there was a weariness in his gaze that mirrored her own. Slowly, cautiously, she extended a hand, palm open, allowing him to approach on his own terms. The little dog hesitated, sniffing the air, his tail giving a tiny, almost imperceptible wag. Then, as if sensing her genuine kindness, he took a tentative step forward and licked her outstretched fingers. A small smile touched Lily's lips, the first genuine smile she had offered in days. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the half of a biscuit she had saved from breakfast. She offered it to the dog, who devoured it gratefully, his tail now wagging with a little more enthusiasm. Over the next few days, Lily and the little dog became inseparable. Every afternoon after her chores at the orphanage were done, she would rush to the park, her heart filled with anticipation. The dog would be waiting for her, his ears perked, his tail thumping a happy rhythm against the ground. She named him Lucky, hoping to bestow upon him the fortune he had so clearly lacked. Lily shared her meager snacks with Lucky, and in return, he offered her a companionship she had never known. He would sit patiently by her side as she read her books, his warm body a comforting presence. He would follow her through the park, his playful nips at her heels a silent invitation to play. And when the loneliness threatened to overwhelm her, she would bury her face in his soft fur, finding solace in his steady heartbeat. Lucky, in turn, found a sense of belonging he had long forgotten. Lily's gentle touch, her soft voice, the unwavering kindness in her eyes, these were the balm that soothed his wounded spirit. He followed her everywhere, his loyalty absolute. He was no longer just a scruffy wanderer. He was Lily's protector, her confidant, her furry shadow. The other children at the orphanage noticed the change in Lily. The quiet sadness that had clung to her began to dissipate, replaced by a newfound lightness and joy. They would often see her in the park, laughing as Lucky chased after squirrels or rolled playfully in the grass. Some were curious about her furry friend. Others were envious of the unconditional love he so clearly offered her. Mrs. Gable, the kind but strict headmistress of the orphanage, observed the bond between Lily and Lucky with a mixture of concern and understanding. While she admired Lily's compassion, the rules of the orphanage strictly prohibited pets. She knew that Lucky provided Lily with much-needed comfort, but she also worried about the practicalities of caring for a stray dog. One chilly evening, as Lily and Lucky were huddled together under a large oak tree, sharing a piece of apple, Mrs. Gable approached them. Her expression was gentle but firm. "Lily," she said softly, "you know the rules about pets here." Lily's heart sank. She clutched Lucky closer, her eyes pleading. "But Mrs. Gable, Lucky, he's all alone, and he's so good. He doesn't cause any trouble." Mrs. Gable knelt down, her gaze softening as she looked at the loyal dog nestled against Lily. She saw the genuine affection in his eyes, the way he seemed to sense Lily's distress. "I know he's a good dog, Lily," she said kindly, "and I can see how much he means to you. But the other children, it wouldn't be fair to them, and we don't have the resources to care for a dog properly." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes. The thought of being separated from Lucky was unbearable. He was more than just a pet. He was her anchor, her silent listener, the one constant in her young life. Lucky seemed to sense her distress. He nudged his head against her hand, his warm tongue licking away her tears. Mrs. Gable sighed. She was a woman of rules, but she was also a woman with a heart. She saw the profound impact Lucky had on Lily, how he had brought a spark back into her eyes. "Tell you what, Lily," she said, her voice thoughtful. "Let's try something. We can't keep Lucky inside the orphanage, but perhaps he could stay in the old tool shed at the back. It's dry and sheltered. You would be responsible for him, feeding him, cleaning up after him. If he causes any problems, or if it becomes too much for you, we'll have to find him another home." Lily's face lit up, her tears replaced by a radiant smile. "Oh, thank you, Mrs. Gable. Thank you." She threw her arms around the surprised headmistress, then hugged Lucky tightly. And so, Lucky found a semi-permanent home in the tool shed. Every morning, Lily would wake up early to feed him and spend some time with him before her chores. In the evenings, she would read to him by the dim light filtering through the shed window, her voice soft and soothing. The arrangement wasn't perfect. The tool shed was cold in the winter and hot in the summer. But for Lily and Lucky, it was a sanctuary, a place where they could be together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. One day, a wealthy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Thornton, came to visit the orphanage. They were looking to adopt a child, a companion for their only son, who was often lonely. They spent time with several of the children, but it was Lily who captured their attention. There was a quiet resilience about her, a gentle kindness that shone through her reserved demeanor. After several meetings, Mr. and Mrs. Thornton decided that they wanted to adopt Lily. The news filled Lily with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. She was thrilled at the prospect of having a family, a real home. But the thought of leaving Lucky behind filled her with despair. She confided her fears to Mrs. Gable, her voice choked with emotion. "But what about Lucky? He'll be all alone again." Mrs. Gable placed a comforting hand on Lily's shoulder. "I understand how you feel, dear. Mr. and Mrs. Thornton are very kind people. Perhaps, perhaps they would consider taking Lucky too?" Lily's eyes widened with hope. She couldn't imagine her new life without her loyal companion. When Mrs. Gable broached the subject with the Thorntons, they were initially hesitant. They had never owned a dog before, and they weren't sure if they were ready for the responsibility. But when they saw the depth of the bond between Lily and Lucky, the way Lily's face lit up whenever she spoke of him, they began to reconsider. Lily, with all the earnestness of her young heart, told them about how Lucky had found her when she was lonely, how he had been her constant companion, her source of comfort. She told them about his gentle nature, his unwavering loyalty, the way he seemed to understand her without words. Mr. and Mrs. Thornton were deeply moved by Lily's heartfelt plea. They saw that Lucky wasn't just a stray dog. He was an integral part of Lily's life, a source of healing and happiness for a child who had known too much sadness. After careful consideration, they agreed. Lucky would go with Lily to their new home. The day Lily and Lucky left the orphanage was bittersweet. The other children gathered to say goodbye, some with tears in their eyes. Mrs. Gable hugged Lily tightly, a rare display of affection. As Lily walked towards the waiting car, Lucky trotting faithfully by her side, she turned back and smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that reached her eyes. For the first time in a long time, she felt a sense of hope, a belief in the kindness of the world. Life in the Thornton household was a new and wonderful experience for both Lily and Lucky. They had a warm, comfortable home, plenty of food, and the love and attention of a caring family. Lucky quickly became a beloved member of the household, his playful antics bringing laughter and joy to Mr. and Mrs. Thornton's son. Lily thrived in her new environment. She blossomed under the warmth of family life, her quiet sadness gradually replaced by a cheerful confidence. But she never forgot the lonely days in the orphanage, the comfort she had found in a scruffy, abandoned dog. Years passed. Lily grew into a kind and compassionate young woman, her love for animals never wavering. Lucky, though his muzzle had turned gray and his steps were a little slower, remained her faithful companion, a constant reminder of the unexpected bonds of love and the healing power of kindness. One sunny afternoon, as Lily sat in the garden, Lucky resting his head on her lap, she thought back to the day they had first met in the park. Two lost souls finding solace and companionship in each other. A discarded dog and an orphaned girl. Their unlikely friendship a testament to the enduring power of empathy and the profound connection that can exist between humans and animals. Their story was a quiet melody of resilience, a gentle reminder that even in the darkest of times, a little bit of kindness can light the way to hope and healing. And sometimes the greatest treasures in life come in the most unexpected, scruffy packages.